You see smoke trails above the Himalayas, and suddenly, two nuclear neighbors are on edge. Just one missile could trigger something much bigger.
Today is May 7th, 2025. Yesterday, India launched multiple missiles into Pakistan, saying they were targeting terrorist infrastructure. Pakistan called it an act of war, reported casualties, and declared they have a right to respond. Where does that leave the region and, honestly, the rest of us?
Let's look at why now. It all started with the Pahalgam incident in April, right? That attack killed 26 people in Indian-controlled Kashmir. India pointed the finger at militants based in Pakistan. That's what triggered Operation Sindoor, the missile strikes into both Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
Right, and India says the targets were militant bases, but Pakistan insists these strikes hit their territory, causing both civilian and military casualties. That's why they're calling it an act of war. Both armies are now at high alert. Why does this standoff matter more than, say, previous clashes?
Well, this isn't just another border clash. This is the most serious confrontation since 2019. Usually, you see skirmishes, maybe some artillery fire. But now, we're talking about missile launches. These are open, visible.
Sorry, can I jump in? Why are missile strikes so much harder to walk back than, say, a quick exchange at the border?
Sure, yeah. Missiles are hard to use as a warning shot. They're escalatory by nature. And when both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons, the margin for error gets really tight. A single miscalculation, things could spiral. Do you think we're close to a larger conflict?
That's the question everyone's asking. The UN has called for restraint. The US, China, Russia, they're all urging talks. Even President Trump weighed in, hoping for quick de-escalation, but admitting the deeper issues are still there. What's actually happening behind the scenes right now?
There's a lot of diplomatic traffic. The US State Department is in contact with both governments. The UN is pushing for dialogue. China and Russia are probably working through quieter channels too. But in public, both sides are digging in. India keeps saying it targeted terrorists. Pakistan says they'll respond forcefully if there's another strike. Does that raise the risk of mistakes?
Definitely. That's what makes it so risky. Any error, a radar blip, a miscommunication, even a rogue officer could escalate really quickly. And yeah, both sides have nuclear weapons. If there's another round, what could happen?
It could get disastrous. Even a conventional war would mean millions displaced, the whole region destabilized. If nuclear weapons get involved, the consequences, both the actual fallout and the political shockwaves, would reach way beyond South Asia. And this all goes back to the unresolved Kashmir dispute, which started with the partition in 1947. Every time tension flares, it's a reminder that nothing's really settled.
Why is this relevant for people outside the region? For listeners who aren't following every detail, what's at stake globally?
3 big reasons. First, global security. South Asia is among the world's most tense places. Second, economic impact. A conflict could disrupt markets and supply chains. Third, the human cost. Millions affected, people fleeing, casualties. The world doesn't have the luxury to ignore this.
So what should listeners be watching for next? What are the signs that things are getting better or worse?
Watch for military movements, big diplomatic statements, and whether there's any sign of back-channel talks picking up. If you see more troop buildups or new strikes, that's a danger sign. On the other hand, if you hear about meetings or mediation, that's a reason to hope. But for now, the tension is real, and escalation is a risk.
We're looking at 2 nuclear-armed nations, a disputed border, and the world's attention locked on South Asia. Will talks win out, or is something more dangerous coming?
Honestly, only time and some restraint will tell. Thanks for joining us as we tried to unpack the risks and realities of this India-Pakistan missile crisis.
Stay tuned. We'll keep watching and bring you updates as the story develops.